Oof. Tough day for England fans online yesterday as their boys make it really hard for the fans to get behind them. We have to pour one out for our English brothers and sisters. In the meantime, the actual England team gives us another reason to squint our faces so close together as to form irreparable crow's feet as to the behaviour, the posturing, the verbiage. What is going on? In the game itself, there were plenty of milestones. Milestones are plenty indeed. We dissect the ones that do count and the ones that don't count. There's also a Pakistan fan being asked to cover up his replica jersey at Old Trafford just to add another layer of weirdness to this whole thing. Meanwhile, Australia complete an 8-game clean sweep in the West Indies, which we conclude is par for the touring side. B- at best, likely a C. That plus Australia A-Watch and what runs do and don't count, where, what cities, against whom. There's also grade cricket tease, KP's era being the best, according to him. BBL investment, AskTGC, some other tangents. This episode is brought to you by Swyftx. Kick off your crypto journey with Swyftx. Join Swyftx and get $20 in Bitcoin for new customers only by using the link in the show notes of this episode. Pez, it's been a big 24 hours. It's been it's been a wild ride for all of us on the internet, you know? Everyone gets upset. Everyone's trying to have a laugh. Everyone's doing whataboutery. We're getting clips from the 90s, from the 80s. What about this? Hey? What about when this happened? My team's the best. But it's all part of it. It's all part of Test cricket. How good.
We should be thanking England.
Once again.
Yeah,
we're watching. We're watching.
If you criticise it, you don't get it. You don't get it.
Love me or loathe me, you watched.
Yeah, it has. It's been a big 24 hours. Speaking of milestones, our most watched clip ever.
Yeah.
Yesterday. So outright, of every clip we've ever released on social, yesterday's in the space of 23 hours outstripped everything that had come before. Not on a pound for pound basis. But prior to that, our most watched clip, and this is fascinating to people, this data, but was and you'd think that what I'm about to say would be tough to defeat in the kind of the genre of how to get numbers on clips. But it's us Australians asking an international cricketer, Glenn Maxwell, also Australian, to talk positively about Suryakumar Yadav at the height of his T20 magicianship a few years ago. 2.5 mil over 2.5 years. Okay. Yesterday, we're banging on about shaking hands. It's gone past 2.5 million in 23 hours.
Yeah, and that's we'd love to say that was just because of the crafting of the joke.
It was the craft,
but it seems to me that there might be some interest in the coterie of one particular side, which has been brewing for a little while, it feels like. And I'm not sure this is quite the sandpaper that broke the camel's back, as it was phrased yesterday, but it's another little mark in the checkbook there of what is going on. Anyway, we'll come to that.
Yeah, and like Aussies, glass houses. At the end of the day, everyone's vying to be the cricket police.
Actually, that's all this is.
I'm the cricket police. We all. Everybody is doing it. Stokes is doing it. We do it. When are you allowed to talk? When aren't you allowed to talk? These are power dynamics writ large. When is a personal milestone okay? When's it not? India's entered the chat. Don't mind 100.
Yep.
They've been pretty clear about that for a long time.
Yep,
they've been consistent.
Yep, consistent.
Everybody is trying to influence the other from positions of power.
Yeah.
I prefer, and I've never really said this before, but I like what Mitchell Johnson said about it yesterday. Like, if you're going to sledge, at least dominate.
Perfect. Perfect.
That's power exercising itself. That's cricket policing.
David Warner once said to the Indian team, "Sledge me in English."
Yeah. Yeah.
Which might go back to the glass houses, I think.
There's a lot of Aussies have said things are in and around those kinds of themes as well. Don't really get discussed.
Yeah.
But
Ian Healy told Ranatulgi you don't get a runner for being a fat cunt.
Yeah, well, I don't want to open this. I don't want to open that.
I'm just saying, we're the cricket police. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah. Just be careful. Yeah. Just be careful of who's trying to police you. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Subscribe to the police that you like. And there's plenty of English people out there who like Stokes as a policeman.
Totally right.
You know what I mean? The moral, he is operating in a higher plane, Stokesy, and often we don't get it. Often we don't get it. In this case, I definitely don't.
Yeah.
Now, so everybody's doing is putting a perspective forward.
Right, okay.
And there's different ways of doing it, different ways of putting perspectives forward.
That's right.
And with that in mind, do you mind? Shall I do the honours here?
Yeah, please.
It's, I guess, attention spans are shortening.
Most people have already stopped listening to this. Thank you for hanging in there.
Especially with that awkward 5 seconds of dead air while I arranged my brain. Attention spans are shortening.
Okay.
People are communicating more and more in bite-sized manners, and they're doing it visually. They're doing it with higher and higher levels of editing skills. Young people are funny. They've got joke craft, and they know how to visually communicate. And so with that in mind, the Grade Cricketer is very, very pleased to announce that we've written a book.
Of our favourite TikToks.
We're today properly announcing that we will have a book out.
There it is on screen.
There it is on screen if you're watching on YouTube.
Well done, Chuck.
It's an instructional book. It's a book of as I said, it's a perspective. It's not it's not fiction. It's called The Grade Cricket. It's called Alphas, Champs and Chop Kings, The Unwritten Rules of Clubland.
Yep.
And we're really proud of it. It's the first book released by The Grade Cricketer in 8 years.
Has it been 8 years?
It's been 8 years.
Okay, so book number 3, 8-year wait.
Yep.
Make them wait, etc.
Exactly.
A how-to guide of how to make it in club cricket. Your ins, your outs, your do's, your don'ts.
Exactly. And the reason we waited 8 years, there's heaps, but in a, there's a rapidly changing socio-political environment out there. I've always said that. You've always said that. Took the words out of your mouth.
Yes.
This book, the reason we've written this book is because we wanted to provide a keepsake or a period piece intended to preserve the culture from when Australian cricket was at its peak. Chronically, but also chronicling the way things have changed. So, for example, 1, 2, 3 years ago, it doesn't really matter. I was standing at a first grade semi-final talking to one of the players from the squad, and he was lamenting the change in tub culture, right, in and around grade cricket, and we've talked about it as well.
Yeah.
And he's traversed the generations,
Right.
And he said he's lamenting the shift in tub culture, and he says at the end of the game, I like drinking a beer and looking at a cock. Now, this book, I'm not saying it's all about that, but it's exploring these changes.
Yeah, that was the original title. Didn't get through. So
it didn't get through. There was another. One of the alternative titles was "Every Club Needs a Super Pig." So it's chronicling the way things have changed in and around cricket and media.
Yeah.
In all of its glorious misanthropy.
Yes.
It's about generational wars. It's about hard men creating good times, which in turn creates soft men and bad times. It's about manosphere culture. It's about Andrew Tate. It's not to glorify any of it. There's no glorification. It is merely an information exchange. It is essays and accumulations from Clubland.
Yes, that's all it is.
Penned by Higgins and myself. It's available now for pre-order.
Yeah, you pre-order
via Booktopia. Alphas, Champs and Chop Kings. Your guide to the way cricket has changed from Clubland by the Grade Cricketer.
So if you're looking for your Christmas present, get in early.
You can get them now.
Available on Booktopia. Link in the description. Chuck, you going to put the link in? Yeah, he's going to put the link in. He's going to put the link in.
Mic on.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hey, happy birthday, Chuck.
Happy
birthday to Chuck.
For yesterday.
For yesterday.
Yesterday.
Sending your birthday wishes to Chuck's way.
Now, he doesn't know it, but he's got one signed copy coming his way of someone else's book, and I'm going to sign it. So there you go. Alphas, Champs and Chop Kings by TGC. Pre-order. Get it now.
Out this summer.
Out this summer.
Out this summer. Plenty of work around
now, just one more bit of admin. Next week's show is going to last for the series. Obviously, had an amazing time being in the UK, but also covering this series and also the Australian series over in the West Indies and a bit of white ball stuff as well. A huge Well, basically a huge year coming up, as it always is in the cricket calendar. But next week will be the last week show to cover the 5th test of the series, and I'm sure Australia's doing something. I don't know if they are. So that'll be the last show of the northern summer
of the season.
Of the season, yeah, because people consume podcasts in series and seasons. Typically speaking. So, but speaking of the season, Pezza. Paul Amy tweeted, which caught my eye. The goat tweeted, and he said a few rule changes coming to @Vic Premier Cricket next season, but afternoon teas at grounds will remain optional, not compulsory. Officials raised the idea of bringing them back, but there wasn't sufficient support among clubs. So this all started during the novel coronavirus, where teas were not put out through, but them being vectors of disease, as with the cricket ball as well. So it's been 5-6 long years since teas have been compulsory at grade cricket in Victoria, and I think this is a great shame. This is part of the dying culture, the fabric of our society when it comes to club cricket. Now, when guys are getting paid tens of thousands of dollars to scrap together 730 runs.
730?
At 28, I'm talking in the top grades. Averaging 28 first grade. You're looking at a Shield contract. I'm just saying, guys on that kind of, they're getting tens of thousands of bunts. Where are the sausage rolls? Where are the party pies? Where are the little boys? Those are Frankfurts. Oh. Obviously, Charlie didn't know that. He just gasped. Now he's turned the TV off.
I'd like to explore this in more detail next week, because I'd like anybody who plays grade cricket in any other state to just let us know the status of afternoon teas.
Great shout.
As you say, he goes this may have come in during the novel coronavirus, but obviously crises haven't been wasted, and a new norm around the tightening of economic belts, cost of living issues, and it could be a cost of living issue, it could be a reserve bank issue, it could be something probably a question that went wanting when we had the Prime Minister in here. If clubs don't have enough money, or players don't have enough money to fund afternoon tea, because I saw some very cheap afternoon teas rolling around when I was playing.
100%.
I saw, doesn't matter what.
It doesn't matter what you saw? No. Well, there were cost of living issues when I played too. As I've mentioned before, I did see a guy attempt to pay his Rego in sausages. So it's not like we didn't have these issues too. And my story, I play with a guy who, providing tea for 22, 24 other players, he bought a foot-long Subway, cut it in half, had 6 inches to himself, and then put 6 inches on the table. So don't tell me this is a new problem.
So it's a Jim Chalmers issue. It's an issue of the treasurer. It's an issue. This goes all the way to the top. I'd like people to let us know across different states what the status of afternoon tea is. This is a nationwide scourge. We're going to talk about Todd Greenberg introducing private investment into the BBL via your Indian franchises, etc. When they say money will be returned to the grassroots, can we start with afternoon tea? Because if we're going to get fucking privatisation of the BBL going, test players back into the domestic T20 comp, and that still doesn't put a Lamington on the table at Clubland, then what's the point?
We're talking sausage rolls, party pies, Lamingtons, Tim Tams,
jam pikelets.
I need some
jam
watermelon.
pikelets.
Jam pikelets. What about a grape?
Someone's gone to Baker's Delight. Ooh.
Things are going well, are they? Yeah.
But I just want to know, or is this a Victorian thing? Because there's a lot of bunts knocking around, Victorian amateur sport, generally speaking. The cricket and the football, netball clubs tend to be lined up. There's much more money in the amateur market for players, as you say, who score 7 runs at 28. How isn't this returning afternoon teas to the table? Because afternoon teas are what it just about melds the delicate fabric of relations between teams.
Yes.
Can we just break bread together for a second. Can we be forced to do that? No spikes in the dressing room. Obviously,
No spikes.
These are the coronavirus. As far as I'm aware, I mean, it's still knocking around. We just don't go outside now. But like,
moved on.
Yeah, like what is this? Is this a Dan Andrews thing? I mean, what's going on? Because this is concerning.
If the clubhouse is doubling as a kindergarten during the week, how are we supposed to knit the fabric of the children of our municipals and some parkies that drink drive to the game?
This is Premier cricket though as well. Like this is Victorian Test cricket. Yeah. They'd like to be known as. But sufficient support among clubs. So there are clubs out there saying, no, we don't want to do it. We don't want to do it. We don't want that expenditure. Well, I mean, I like to say, if you're saving money on afternoon tea so that you can pay for players or, okay, if you're funding the nefarious gambling pursuits of volunteers and stuff, that's been going on for time immemorial. I understand there needs to be a budget for that. Okay, but you've lost the run of yourself if you don't understand that there needs to be budget for afternoon teas. Yeah. I mean, I don't think our club ever put money forward. It was the players self-funded it, which was also part of cost-cutting measures so that our clubs could fund the rub and tug pursuits of its administrators.
Yes.
So anyway.
Well, let us know.
Let us know, because is it a nationwide scourge? Because it might be a federal matter.
Now, please drop us a line, hello@greycricketer.com for your AskTGCs and for this specific question. Let us know what's doing. All right, England-India, 4th test, Old Trafford. India batted first, 358 they made. England made 669. It's the highest ever score at Old Trafford. India then made 425 for 4. And if you're watching this, you already know what happened. Let's talk about the fallout. Now, Pedro, I think...
Are you saying it needs to be studied? Oh, wait, that's the fallout.
Yeah, the fallout needs to be studied, and it has been. Now, I would say if your team has been mediocre at best your entire life, and something fun and renegade comes along with this Maverick-style leader, it's very easy, I would imagine, to want to get on board with that. In England, I feel like there is so much goodwill for the team because they've had these incredible moments. Like they've reached these highest of highs they haven't seen in more than a generation. Probably since, like, you're looking at like Botham gear, right? They've had some good series in between, don't get me wrong, but like in terms of a structure. And like, no matter where you're from, you just want your team to be the best, no matter where you're from, and it doesn't matter how you get there. But if I'm an England fan, I'm waking up yesterday and I'm like, God damn it. Now I've got to be off Instagram for 5 more days. Again. Because these guys are not well. So I'm feeling for the England fans at this, because I've actually had a lot of correspondence from people that work in the game and also that are just fans of the team. And they're like, they're acting like dickheads. And they felt, I'm not saying this that they felt let down, but it was just like, I can see why people don't like us, you know? That's frustrating. In Australia, we had that for ages, but, you know.
Oh, we'll have it again.
It'll come around.
We'll be back.
It's cyclical. I mean, at least Australia was winning things. You know, England have won great moments. They've had great tests, individual. You know, they've had a great series win in Pakistan, for instance. 3-0 over there a couple of goes ago. But like, you know, I feel like it's another mark in the notebook of bizarre or ordinary behaviour from this team. Like, I don't know if it started before then, but I think about like the Bairstow run out thing into the Lord's long room. That wasn't the team per se. It was, you know, that was the fandom. The general carry on of that into the moral victory, into the we should be taking credit for how they play, into people will remember how we played, into being the entertainers, into being more humble, into not being nice anymore, into this. It's I feel like it really only upsets your home fans, doesn't it? Because like other fans never give credit to other teams anyway. That's just how it works. And it's likely fine if you're the best team and you're winning all the time. And so if you're not, it's all a bit like, fuck, you blokes are strange. That's strange going on. And fundamentally, like, none of this matters from like a bloke's perspective. But it feels like a peek behind the curtain of a very fragile team that lacks steel when things aren't going exactly their way. Is that too harsh?
I mean, no. I mean, I think like there's now so many resources out there documenting the insane things that have been said and done that it's pretty like, I think it's pretty established. It's going to take a pretty like one-eyed person to say, no, this is actually all very understandable if you step back or fly at 50,000 feet.
Yeah, it's a pattern of behaviour that's being established.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was curious to see whether there was such a strong reaction to their conduct the other day, as evidenced by just everybody who's talking about this is doing numbers, right? And it's the numbers aren't commensurate to the quality of what's out there. Like, we're happy to say, I don't think our clip did well. Not that anyone gives a shit, but like, I don't think it was that funny. But everyone's just voraciously they're ravenous, for consumption of it.
Yeah,
I was curious as to whether there might be because the way that these media episodes work is, you've got the action, then you've got the reaction to the action, then the reaction to the reaction. That's where someone comes in and goes like, this pylon's going too far.
Yeah.
And I'm waking up this morning, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing anyone go, okay, enough's enough. He was just offering the draw. So I think it's fairly well established that there's an unusual, like, this is a team of unusual behavior it's completely self-involved. It's constantly talking about itself, who it is. It's trying to define itself, and it's probably consistent with, two characters as their leaders who are kind of iconoclastic, maverick types who are, who seem to build their identity in how different they are to everybody else. That's how they're understood. Like, you don't get me. You don't get the levels that I'm on right now. And, they're things, anyone who is an extreme personality, they have, anyone in life has, whether they've got themselves or other people around them, people who tend to have extremity in their personality have incredible strengths that come with that,
right?
That you marvel at. And then there are also blind spots, to put it mildly. And that's the case with the leaders of the England cricket team. And, to zoom out, well, that's what it seems to me. I don't know them, right? But I don't think it's an unreasonable thing.
Yeah,
but
it seems to tip into like megalomania.
It's not really. There's so many labels that go out there with that stuff. There definitely does seem to be something pathological about it and curious that can lead to these incredible feats, where you just sit back and you go, these people are capable of these feats that we haven't seen before, and they're driven by that. And that's why you get this duality with the England team of like, they're doing some special things at times.
Yeah.
And then other times when the conditions do not favour, you get these like this combustibility around it that manifests in all these different ways. And they're ways that are really a bit foreign to us as Aussies, because I think there's been so much talk about cultural differences, which I want to come to that later, because I think there's something insidious to that framing of what's happened yesterday too. Mm-hmm. But like in Australia, we tend to be taught when it comes to cricket that like, if you ever talk about the game too much, it'll bite you in the ass. If you kind of serve at the pleasure of mother cricket a little bit. You don't say anything. You perform on the field. If something bad happens, you take your medicine. You stoically manage failure quietly, and you only ever start to speak up when you're doing really well. And even then, the game still gets you. And I feel like that's the great error, I think, that Stokes and England have made. They've fallen foul of like the thing Australians respect least, which is talking.
I mean, it actually goes back to like that thing that Ponting said in the dressing room. Like he was playing for Tassie, he was like 18.
Yeah.
And then someone scored some runs and he was like, "Oh, get a few today, did you?"
Exactly.
I mean, that Australians probably take it too far. To be honest.
Well, we have a tall poppy issue, right? Anytime you think you're good, we chop you down. And how many people has that cost? We see in Australia when anybody speaks up or has a little bit of regard for themselves and they can back it up, they just get swallowed up and spat out, because we don't like that. So I think there all those like cultural forces are there around, watching England, peacocking chest out, entitlement, double standards, holier than thou duplicity, hypocrisy, and we're just like, oh, feed me more of this ahead of the summer. And we're just lucky we're in this phase right now where our captain doesn't do that, and that's around. That's in the context of 50 years of us doing this shit. So like to that point, I mean, quite clearly England have some very, very good players, especially in certain conditions as well. And I think it's very reasonable to say that the team that will come out here is at least has a lot more surety in terms of place in this. Like the team will be pretty consistent throughout the series, you'd imagine. Guys are assured of their place, is what I'm saying. And it's going to be a lot stronger than what has been out here basically since they won their last test match out here in 2011. But, like, looking at this, it's like it just makes you feel like they're so susceptible to absolute meltdown in Australia, which, as we know, can happen to England teams when they come out here. And I wonder if it is because of those cultural things where, like, if you come out and you're talking about how good you are, Australians, like, they fucking, like, they drink it in about how much they want to give it back to you, And so, the Ashes are always hot anyway. But, like, England say, like, it's a tough place to tour, Australia. And it's like, why? It's nice here. But it must be the people, I'm guessing. Yeah, and, like, let's just, there's still a test to go in this series.
And they'll probably win.
Like, and I'm like... But everyone's just going like, well, what does this mean for the Ashes? It's, what is it? It's July 29.
Yeah.
But it's like, what does this all mean?
Yeah. And what does it mean?
Yeah, well, stay tuned for the next 90 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's England. There are these efforts being made now to cast the events of 24 hours ago as just something that happens when you get tired and grumpy, and I just think that's facile and borderline manipulative. Not that wasn't the case, but there's more to that entitlement and there's more to that conduct than just fatigue. It's entitlement, it's carry on, it was shaming the opposition. It's endless gaslighting. Like, oh, you got 100 against Harry Brooks. Like, you were bowling. What am I meant to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not the first time, but it reared its head, and it's a shame. If I am an England fan or whatever, I am probably disappointed at a practical level because they had shown evidence at the start of the series that they weren't saying insane things anymore. They weren't doing insane things. They just chilled out, and as Steve Smith pointed out last week, they're starting to play the situation a little bit more and a little bit less wrapped up in their own ideas of an identity as entertainers. There's a little bit more robustness around situations that we're playing, as prepared to score more slowly, prepared to bowl differently, prepared to change the team a little bit, and now that some of that uglier stuff has just, reared its head again, and that's because they're annoyed at them. They're annoyed at themselves, So, anyway, it's all grist for the mill, It's all part of the pantomime that'll lead in, and we're just gonna have to keep this going for the next 3 or 4 months before the first ball.
Which is why next week's the last show.
Yeah, exactly. Like I saw. Can I keep going with it?
Please.
There's people have been saying that this all came about because of cultural differences between England and India, and then the people have tried to drag Australia into this in terms of being on the the Anglosphere side here, where India has milestone culture. What you need to understand is they like scoring hundreds. I think there's an insidiousness to that, because it implies a selfishness that isn't culturally observed elsewhere, when cricket is literally the most selfish sport of all time, observed universally. India does have milestone culture, but it's nowhere near the entire explanation of why batting on had heaps of merit. It wasn't just guys getting hundreds. Miles in tired legs, momentum, frustrating the opposition, hurting them further. Just as Stokes and Archer bowled at punts broken foot, which nobody complained about, I think, everyone understood that, if you're going to take a weakness into into a game, then the opposition's entitled to exploit it. India were entitled to affect their own damage on England, on their own psyche, on their bodies, etc. They earned the right to do it, and as cricketers, you tend to take your medicine. Whereas this England team just seemed to be unironically bemused and miffed at this, and essentially was saying, well, what you're doing is unethical. The only unethical thing was to carry on the way that they did and to like insult the game with lollipop bowling and the sledging. I don't really mind you say that sort of shit, but now people seem to be starting to say like they should have stayed out there for another 15 overs. Sonny Gavaskar said it. I'm kind of with him, really. The major cultural difference appears to be English appetite for their own bullshit. Because everybody else can see through it.
I thought Root batted well.
So I feel like Root is like, I don't count him in all of this.
Nah.
Even when he was bowling, he still bowled properly.
He bowled properly, yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't like, I'm sure he says stuff, but like, he doesn't seem, he sort of reminds me of like Smith in the Cummins era a little bit as well. Like he reminds me of like, not so much a time gone by, but he to me seems like a stoic cricketer who keeps it pretty level and does his talking on the field. It's just his actions on the field that do his talking for him.
Tell you what I found, like when Jadeja scored his 100 first. Yeah. Harry Brook lobbed it up and then went for the handshake and stuff. And then
Jadeja's literally celebrating his 100. Yes. And it's like, I'm just gonna.
Yeah. And then they had like a wider shot of like English fielders in the frame, and all of them like hands behind back, and like you don't need to be magnanimous and like cheer.
I heard there was two. I've heard two.
Right. Okay.
Anyway,
it's just the whole body language thing was just like, it was embarrassing.
But being in cricket teams, like I played in a cricket team once where I probably said this before. I'm sorry, and I've definitely bored you with it. He goes, but we played against Penrith once, and they batted on. We made 250 in the first week, and then they passed us one down. I actually arrived 15 overs into the game because my car broke down. Everyone thought I'd just taken drugs, by the by. And they passed us one down, and our guys, our like leaders, became so irate that they started like sitting on the ground, like that. So the Penrith boys were going for like club records and all this stuff. Yeah. And our boys like half of them started sitting on the ground. Guys were coming on to bowl with a non-preferred hand. Yeah. This is a first grade fixture. Yeah. And like it was deeply, deeply petulant, embarrassing thing. But my point is like, how many of those England players were, aping the behaviour of its leaders?
Totally.
Feeling like I've got to do this now because that's what
if you
that's what my leaders do.
Then you're
you're clapping. Yeah, you're soft.
Not with us.
Yeah, exactly. Or implicitly seeing things differently to the way we do. We know this team is very much like in complete servitude, to the way that it's meant to run. There are guys who like don't get even a look in for selection because they don't seem to fit the mold. But it must be hard for a lot of those players trying to keep up with what you're meant to do because we're humble, we're too nice, we're no dickheads. Now we're now we're petulant. What is it? Like it's hard for young guys to be like, I've just got to do what my captain says. Totally. I wouldn't be surprised if half of them were like, it was a bit doing there, but a bit going on.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, this is actually one of the great things about this 5-test series because England, India, and Australia are all now playing 5 tests against each other, and this is like what you get when you get these long series. And this is why Test cricket's the funniest. This is also why T20 cricket's not funny, where they just sit the process and they play every 10 minutes, and good days, bad days, whatever. But like when there's pain involved, that's when cricket actually becomes the funniest. So I'm all for it.
Mate, that's exactly right, and like. So much about these decks it's like a big symphony. There's so many different chapters to the book. Forgotten everything that's happened in the first 3 tests, pretty much. Bar one or two things. It's amazing. Like look at what the decks have done. Like it's amazing that India, for example, haven't been able to produce a quick to go with Bumrah. Like a quick of sort of international first grade. Yep. Quality, if you put it that way, given the money and the resources at their disposal, which you have to say, like it must be due to the ubiquity of the IPL, right? Or like because they've got no shortage of quicks available to step in for the Indian men's team when it comes to short form cricket, right? But like and amazingly, say with India, who seem to be right behind the team here, like the fans right behind the team. But like again, to bring it back to TGC, like this tour or this series, we've done more numbers in 4 tests, like more views in 4 tests than the last 2 IPLs combined, which is like 50 videos each, including clips and all that sort of stuff. But haven't been able to, and again, cue the violins here, but haven't been able to raise a sponsor for it. Being told that, everyone's spent their money, everyone's spunked their money on the IPL. That's where all the money is for Indian cricket, you know. But here you go, here you have this series. To your point about Test versus T20s, which is just so much richer than things T20s can actually conjure, you know. And so I hope the example of the series, and there's a test to go where India, kind of have the moral momentum now and are probably galvanized by everything that's happened. If they can pull off something meaningful, that will again reinforce to authorities there that like there's a lot to be gained through it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Bumrah has now played 3 tests and India have not won any of them.
Yeah.
And the one they have, Siraj stepped up, and as did AskTGC. They both took 10 and 9 wickets in the game. Siraj,
respectively as well?
Yes. Yeah. So Siraj took 6 for it, didn't he? And then AskTGC took 6 and 4.
I don't know how it broke down.
I think Siraj took 6 for 70 in Birmingham. I think that's what it was. Anyway, like an amazing achievement on such a flat deck. And then AskTGC trumps it by getting 10. So, and that's the game that Bumrah has not played. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the last Test match, because like he's still the best fast bowler in the world. So like if it feels like they're a better chance of winning if he plays. Yeah. The statistics say that they actually win more games when he's not playing, whatever that means.
How I could understand why Bumrah doesn't want to play this game, and like I could understand why heaps of quicks wouldn't want to play this game.
The Oval Test.
The Oval Test coming up, because like I'm looking at the scores from the Oval like this year in County Champs.
Yep.
A month ago, late June, Surrey made 820
declared
in one innings.
Yeah.
Durham 362 all out, then 262 for none.
Right.
As Surrey went for, full points.
That's one that Dom Sibley scored 300.
That's right. Yeah. A month before that, late May, Essex made 479. Then the other scores in the game was a draw, were like high 200s. Then also in May, Surrey made 512. Yorkshire 255 and 229. Yep. There isn't much that points towards there being a whole lot of life in these decks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jofra Archer's bowled 89 overs in 2 games.
Okay.
Having not played for like Test cricket for 4 years.
Yeah. I'm surely not going to play this game, given they had to bowl 4th innings in this game. It starts 3 days after the end of it.
Yeah.
The 4th
like
test.
Stokes has bowled more than ever, and hugely effectively. I mean, and you can't, like, again, with all of the chat about the carry on, like it has to be said, his numbers this series are incredible. He appears to be at peak fitness in terms of his body working. Yeah. And he's so crucial to England out here. I mean, he's been the best bowler in the series, head and shoulders.
Totally.
So and then he's made 140 with the bat too.
Yeah. So I know people have been calling out for Kuldeep to play a number of games in this series, and I do wonder, like, I don't suggest the Oval's going to spin either. I mean, that's not doing anything. I mean, those numbers.
Have they got any bowlers left?
Have they got any bowlers left? I mean, maybe spinners, unless we get through the 90 overs in the day, possibly. Washington Sundar and Jadeja are obviously going to play. So maybe Kuldeep takes the new ball. Bit of wrist spin. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But
it's just funny with England, isn't it? Like, it's all about throwing forward to the Ashes. I still feel like there's a question after this series about what kind of substance England actually has as a team. And when I say a question, I don't mean like a question mark over it. As in, like, I just don't think it's been answered. And because because of these decks, like we don't know how much of their success is conditional upon these favourable conditions. Like Stokes is world class, but there's also like there's a Wizard of Oz about it all. Like how much of what they're doing is smoke and mirrors and based on feather beds. Like Like there's so many questions about their bowling now. It's like, well, Chris Wokes has averaged 50 odd with the ball. Cass has averaged 60. How does Joffre go into his fourth and fifth spells? It's like, well, they're going to be dangerous in Australia. Maybe less so Wokes, but who said he doesn't want to come. But they're going to be dangerous because the decks will be better for them. Yeah. You know what I mean? I actually think the question mark's over their batters, really, technically. But their batters have been batting on puddings and dominating. So you're like, well, I don't know.
It's honestly what this summer's reminded me of is like when Australia's gone to like Abu Dhabi to play against Pakistan in those years, and they then play at home. Like in these decks where like Pakistan had a pretty good record there, I think, but it was like 500 plays 600. Like it was just so lifeless. I mean, there is nothing going through the chest. I mean, like like there's flat. And then there's this, like there's no pace in it. Like, there's been multiple times in the series, there's been nicks with the brand new ball that's bounced in front of second slip, like genuine edges, from the offset. Or like, was it at Lords or was it Edgbaston where who was bowling first? I think Bumrah bowled the first over and the ball bounced twice to get to Rishabh, So it's like, I don't know what any of this means, and that's the thing about, England, I can't figure out if like England's batters will feel more confident because they've got so much time in the middle compared to Australia's batters who might have had to figure it out a different way in Australia, albeit less time in the middle. I think
that's why it's kind of important to talk about England now because, and this plays into England's hands actually because I think they will hope that the entire conversation ahead of the Ashes is about Australia and the gaps in its side, and there probably will be because, as we've described, there's going to be a Melbourne Cup bat-off. England play no tests after this, so they've got one warm-up game, which is an internal game against England Lions. So there's not going to be any data from which to extract form lines for those guys. So what they're doing here is really the best you can do and deserves some kind of scrutiny. But ahead of like the first test, it's just going to be like, Jake Weatherald, has he made the 400s at Karen Rolton, even though he plays for Tassie? Yeah. Now that would be a shame. But I do think it's important to right now like have a look at like where England's actually at. It's just so difficult to read when like Australia's come off playing in just shit tips in the Caribbean. England's playing on roads that have no life in them, and they're going to meet in like November in Perth, which has no like correlation to any of those conditions. Then into a night game in Brisbane. So who's good, who isn't? These decks have rendered Bumrah neutered. Yeah, basically, like that. That's how brutal they've been. Yeah. So, it's hard to draw too much from it, really. Other than like our decks cannot be flat. That's just got to be the case. That's Australia's Achilles heel. We have an aging attack. Look at what Markram and Bavuma did, strumming us around, on a flat one. And plus, if we continue to develop, grassy, lively wickets, then it will preserve the records of our old guard as well, who had some pretty good conditions, averaging 45 to 50. So
that's true.
Yeah.
For me, it seems most likely that England have found a way to win games on flat decks, and Australia have found a way to win games on seaming decks. And in Australia, it's most likely that the home side will win. But I don't think it's going to be 5-0. Although, combustibility,
There's the combustibility factor.
How flat would you be right now if Australia won the Ashes 3-1? Because I think a lot of people would be like, unders, We've been treated. We've been drinking from the golden trough.
Yeah.
The golden bubbler, which is a separate thing. Todd Carney.
It is. It's the impossible standard to maintain. Yeah. Whichever team now fails to do it 4-zip or 5-zip, it's Argus. Yeah. Frankly. Yeah.
Well, what went wrong there?
And we're all drinking from Todd Carney's golden bubbler.
Well, Rishabh's got a fractured foot, so he ain't going to play. So you think Juve Durrell is going to come in, but
it's kind of good. Yeah, go on.
Stuart McGill's gone past 700 runs for the series, 4 tons in the series. Only a couple of guys have ever done that. Kohli did it in Australia. Bradman did it. And now Shubers. Oh, and Gavaskar did it in the West Indies. And I think
it's almost like all these milestones are being passed again, just coincidentally. Just good players.
Good players. And of course, now the conversation about Joe Root is when is he going to pass Tendulkar? Can he pass Tendulkar? When will he do it? England going to be in India in the beginning of 2028. That's about 2.5 years. Everyone's already done the numbers. that suggests, well, if he keeps going this trajectory, that's when it's going to happen. So, you know, hang in there, England fans. Tough week for you this week, but you're probably winning the Oval, then you'll be good to go.
Look what they've managed to do. Like in India are so like they're so together now. With an identity as like underdog fighters. These are the richest people that have ever walked the earth.
They control the game.
In cricket terms.
Yeah.
And now like Gordon Gambier is coming across like some mix of Denzel Washington and Emilio Estevez, you know, like backs to the wall boys. Gill, you know, Shubman Gill's steely gaze, you know, uniting the nation. Rishabh Pant, you know, limping in with a broken foot.
Yeah.
These are the good guys.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. Really, India, the fighting underdogs.
Just battlers.
Just
battlers. I don't know if you saw this. A security guard asked Pakistan fan to cover up his shirt. The fan, named in Pakistani media as Farooq Nazar, posted a video on his social documenting the request, initially from a member of the security staff at the ground, that he cover up the shirt, a replica of Pakistan's traditional green limited overs kit. This is via Cricinfo. The security guard, who identifies himself as working for Lancashire, says, quote, "I've been asked by control if you can cover that shirt up, please." Later on, a steward can be heard saying the shirt, quote, "might be considered nationalistic." You might have seen the clip, and then the police come over. They ask him to step outside and have this conversation away from the crowd. I understand that Farooq Nazar, he then, instead of coming back to his seat, he just decided to leave the ground. So he's just gone to England and India. He's wearing his Pakistan shirt. But I mean, you know, obviously there's high tensions at all times between Pakistan and India, but that does feel fucking bizarre for security to come over and cops to come over and be like, mate, cover it up.
Crow's feet. Good to see England and India coming together.
That's right.
In this situation.
Breaking bread.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a disgrace. At face value, looked around. I don't know if there's more to it, but it's been written or reported that there were no Indian fans around Farooq Nazar who appeared to have an issue. I also note that I wonder how someone like Wasim Akram feels about this, insofar as he's a Lancashire legend. He rung the bell on day 3,
right?
You know, so and was as welcomed and feted at the ground. I mean, on what basis is a Pakistan insignia or symbol any more or less problematic than any other jersey that is worn that day? You know, it appears that, like, prima facie to be, you know, rank prejudice, and unless there's other information that I'm missing. I did note when we went into Lords, actually, there was an elderly Indian gentleman who was asked to hand over his Indian flag to have it returned at the end of the day. But you know, he and I presume it was his son, were, you know, really upset about that. So I'm just guessing that there may be some policy around
right,
you know, national symbols or something, but
right,
that wouldn't be consistent with people wearing Guernseys of the teams that are taking part, or any other jersey as well. So,
because in Australia we have the Richies,
and obviously at Edgbaston they have the Flintstones. No problem there. I mean, it's really troubling, you know. I feel really sorry for that guy.
Mate,
you know? I mean, he's proud of his country. He's wearing it to the game. Yeah. Pakistan are a cricketing nation, and he
play against India as well, by the way,
and England, and he wants to represent. You know, what's the problem? I mean, seriously, you know, to be honest, like typically England is far more open-minded about the things people can and can't bring into grounds, you know, relative to Australia, for example. Yeah. You know,
or India.
Yeah, right. And so this does surprise me, and it did look like there were a couple of layers to it. Farooq asked for it in writing, and and then he had to deal with a police officer, and you know, unfortunately left the ground. I just don't. I mean, it's I'd be interested in what, you know, Wasim would have to say about that. But that's there's
disappointing. I'd say
It's hugely disappointing if some decision's been made off the back of it being inciting or something.
Yeah.
That's rubbish.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Just before we get into Australia gear, and we'll talk about Australia as well in that process, but this episode is brought to you by Swyftx. And we farewell Swyftx this week, Pezza, for their long-standing service to this show. Swyftx is an Aussie crypto exchange.
If you didn't know already.
It's just an exchange. It's an exchange. It's a crypto exchange. And you can trade over 450 different types of crypto, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP.
It's an exchange of information,
That's
which
all it is.
which we've always been in favour of. No glorification, just exchanging information.
On the platform, you can bundle your crypto. You can diversify your portfolio with bundles. There's a vast world of information about cryptocurrency and blockchain on this platform. You can access a full platform full of high-quality crypto-related resources and insights. That's in your education.
I can tell you, I'm looking at it now,
Are you?
and I'm up. They don't want us to talk about that, but I am.
Yeah.
I've got resources here if I want to educate myself further. I can see right here, hyperliquid deep dive, building for the future. Read more. Bang.
Say less.
I could if I say less.
Read more, say less.
End of financial year, EFE 25. Learn about crypto tax and earn $5 AUD worth of Bitcoin. Bang. I'm making money for reading. Let's talk to me.
You can also invest on autopilot. The Auto Invest feature allows you to schedule automatic recurring orders through the Swyftx app.
The best way to invest. There's fan tokens here. Sorry, mate. I know you're talking straight off the top of your head there, but I can get an Atletico.
I'm
Madrid,
off the dome here,
mate. Atletico Madrid fan tokens, AS Roma fan tokens, Simon's Cat. That's up 14%, by the way.
Can you get fart coin?
There's Juventus, there's FC Barcelona, there's Man City. City's up 4% as well.
More like man shitty. Ha ha.
Yeah. Empty head.
You can join Swyftx and get $20 in Bitcoin for new customers only. By using the link in the show notes of this episode, you can join over 850,000 Aussies who trade with Swyftx. Thanks to Swyftx. Australia Day watch, Pezza. Jake Weatherald, 183. Jason Sanger batting at 4, I think. Maybe 5, 4. 200 red.
Yeah.
So now, does that count? It's in Darwin against Sri Lanka A. Does it count?
Yeah, it does.
Count.
There's a spot. There's a spot in the Australian team. There's one spot.
Got it.
And Weatherald was a top run scorer in the Shield last year, and he's batting on this highway. It's the highway from Adelaide to Darwin, and he's made the runs. Now there's a spot there for an opening batter who can deal with Jofra Archer on a lively, bouncy, seaming deck.
Yep.
And he's scored runs on a highway against Sri Lankan spinners. But they're runs nonetheless. Now, the reason why Weatherald's runs matter to me is that he has been in and around the scene for 10 years, right? And when he came onto the scene, it was, and I know this isn't the correct, literary term, but it was prodigal runs.
Yes.
He came in with a bang.
Yes.
Now,
at a different state as well.
He's gone through the ringer of a different state. He's gone through the ringer of poor form, matters in his life.
Bill Simmons.
He's gone through the ring. Yeah, that's right. At a podcast, and now he's making I've worked it out runs. Mm-hmm. He's making elixir runs. I've gone through these issues and I've come out the other side and I get it now.
That's interesting.
I understand it now. Runs.
That's interesting.
Right?
Okay, but what about when Usman scored 232, his highest test score, in Sri Lanka against the actual test team? Did that count?
That counted against him.
Okay, it was against him. Okay.
So
it's hard to figure out.
But speaking of Usman, the reason why Weatherald's runs are appealing at the moment is because not only is it 10 years I've worked it out runs, but he also bats at a clip. He scores at a clip, and Usman needs someone at a clip at the other end so that he can just sit in there, hang off the back stool.
I see.
There.
And he's left-handed.
Yeah. The other thing about Weatherald is that if you're ever selected in the Australian Test team for whatever reason, whether you're the coach or the captain or whatever it is, your profile has to be in opposition to whatever came before.
I see.
So Constas who's the incumbent, wet behind the ears, you know, green at the gills, hasn't played a game of cricket apparently in his life.
Yeah.
Weatherald, 10 years, been through the ringer of it all.
see.
So has been around the block kind of runs as well. So that's going to start to look appealing. So the way I'm seeing it is, with all of that said, top run scorer, 180 in the Aussie, next level, highway spinners, opposite to Constas. He'll need 400s on the bounce to maybe be 12th man first test. Probably Marnus just for experience, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm firming on Weatherald.
I like it when guys go to Tassie and score bulk runs. Michael Bevan did that.
Yep.
Ed Cowan did that.
Edward Cowan.
Slug was already at Tassie.
Isn't it amazing how safe we feel with Slug already?
Oh, yeah.
Is he sort of like, this is harsh on Slug and Bison, but he's like, it's like Bison never left in a way. It's like just a gnarly. I mean, no one can replace Bison. He's a great mate of Pat and all that kind of thing. But
Sure.
there's a lot of similarities in terms of the vibe and the energy they're bringing at that place in the order as well.
Yeah.
Perhaps not as destructive, but it's ball, it's blade, it's energy, it's Axel
mitts.
Arigato, it's mitts.
Yep.
I mean,
Data.
you know, that's third, fourth slip and gully region with, you know, Ben Duckett and Crawley's open blade and a bit of bounce. It's going to be an important region, you know. So to have mitts there as well.
Yeah, I suppose first Green will go there.
Well, so I mean, just in and around there, just generally, just behind, just a quarter.
What's the chat like?
That's amazing. So,
Okay.
yeah. So Weatherald, gnarly and experienced.
Okay.
You know, Madam runs. You know,
I see.
you know what I'm saying.
I see. And Sanger's 200 was good. But we don't need
Sanger's
we
a
don't
watch
need
for me. Sanger's another guy
Move
that's move states, and it could all, like Sanger more recently prodigal runs, anointed by Kerry O'Keefe, Australia 19s, etc., and has fallen by the wayside, come back, and it's more work. It's more worked it out runs.
He's worked it. He's won the Shield for his new state.
Yep. Played very well at the Thunder, so it's also all format runs. So it's like I'm scoring runs across the board, irrespective of what scenario I'm in. So
I'm interested in a Jason joining in the side, like just a new name.
Jason's and Mitch's, yeah.
Yep.
It's very neighbours 80s. You know, it fits
Totally.
fits the England Australia dynamic.
Jason Sanger.
Yeah,
4.
yeah. 4 is Jason, 6 is Slug. You know, just guys like this. Pat, Jason, Slug, Jake.
Now there's a team.
Yeah.
There's a team.
Yeah. So,
West.
is there anyone? Can I just ask you? Is there anyone else you're liking for that opening spot on July 29?
Marnus has had one of the great series.
Yeah, I mean,
If you've got a gun to my head right now, first question: how do I get myself in this situation?
Yep.
Again. Second, I think it's most likely that that Usman and Marnus will open the batting in the first.
so
test match.
you're locked in with Green at 3 on July 29.
Yep, July 29.
Yep.
Green's the long term number
Is
3.
it too?
He's now
There's
three
been too
format
much.
player.
There's been too much energy behind his T20 50s in the Caribbean for me.
He's found something over
He's
there.
yeah.
He has found something over there. I don't know what it is, but he's found something.
You're right. It's a way.
Or something's found him.
Is the intent of his movements has changed. So, Green's 3. I agree with you with Marnus, because then it's like it's just guys who've been around the block. They've scored runs and know how to do it. So I want to put this to you then.
Okay.
Weatherald makes 4 consecutive tons in the Melbourne Cup bat off.
Yes.
All right, the Great Australian bat off.
Yes.
The greatest Australian bat off.
Yes.
Marnus makes 2. You know what's the line on like when we go like, well, like it's still Marnus's place, isn't it? That's why I feel like if Marnus can show us something, in you go.
Yeah. If Weatherald makes 4 Shield hundreds,
Yeah, on the bounce.
I'm interested in what kind of cordial ratios he can make.
Yeah, okay.
As 12
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about ceiling, isn't it? I mean, 4 on the bounce is. I mean, that is bashing the door down.
That is, it's a bashing. Yeah,
But he's 30, isn't he, Weatherald? Same age as Marnus.
give us a couple of years. Let us get some young guys ready to go, so
Like
they're not
Marnus.
wet behind the ears like Marnus.
I don't know. When does it start? September? October? Can't start
The
September.
Ashes?
No. The bat off.
The bat off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
November.
gotta- It'd be an October. It'd be an October scenario. Charlie, can you help us out there, or are you playing Farmville? Farm Simulator. Sorry,
Charlie stepped out for lunch.
When does the Shield start? Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah, we'll find out. While Charlie's looking that up, I enjoyed Jim Maxwell on.
Don't we all?
On Harry Brook saying, Spirit of Cricket Award, Brook may be the next superstar, but he's cocky and arrogant, needs counselling. I think we know what Jim means, but we're sort of getting there. It's getting a bit like medicalised.
Yeah.
You know, which it's a bit going, but still.
What do you got for us, Chuck?
4th of October.
4th of October. Circle it in your calendars.
Yeah. And what are the first games? And where are they?
You're asking a lot there.
1 second. Do your own research on that. Hey, Australia's won the 5 T20s in a row in the West Indies. Obviously, they played 3 test matches before. Therefore, it's 8-0. Yay, my team's the best. Par, you say, Pezza, 5 T20s in a row? Par?
Any loss in that series would have been concerning.
Tim David hit the fastest T20 100 for Australia. 11 sixes in that innings. Okay.
No, I mean, could he open the batting?
Yeah.
At the Ashes?
Get us way to a flyer.
Well, it's got that height and
he fields without a cap on.
That'd be good. It's good to see. I've got no idea if we're good, but we seem to play baseball. Like we seem to whack it and can take some good catches and bowls doing the thing.
Well, Tim David, he came in at 5 in that game. Only really Mitch Marsh has sort of struggled for runs. I mean, Jake Fraser did get dropped, to be fair, and Maxwell opening the batting, but he just said he's keeping heady spot warm. So Inglis looks incredible. Cam Green looks like he's going to kill someone.
Cam Green's doing the thing.
He's doing a thing.
Something's happened.
Mate, Mitch Owen, he's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
So is Mitch Owen keeping Glenn Maxwell's spot warm? I mean, Max is usually a bit higher in the order.
Well, the teams, so none of the bowlers have been playing. So it's been Ellis, Dwarshuis, Abbott, Kuhneman, Zampar, Xavier Bartlett played as well. Zippy obviously just completed 100 T20Is. So
Zippy's one of the bowlers, but you mean the Quicks, right?
I mean, yeah. So they didn't play. Yeah. And yet Australia did really well. I mean, I think the West Indies scored 200 plus twice, which still wasn't enough in either of those games. I mean, the game that Tim David got 100 off 30 balls, they won the game with like 3 overs to spare. They were chasing out.
Now 3 for spit, weren't they?
They were 3 for spit, and he came in, whacked them.
It's good. It's good to see. I want to hear more from Tim David. To be honest,
yeah.
There's an open invitation there as well.
So T20 World Cup, Pezza, in February in India. No idea if we're good. This isn't really the team that's going to play, but I like the guys that did play. They played really well. The batters look good.
They seem to have fun.
They seem to have a good time.
Australia's path to a World Cup win is like go deep somehow in the lottery of T20 cricket, and then hopefully their camaraderie is really good, and they sort of like humour their way to victory through tight knit comedy. Yep. And little
in jokes
and accoutrements like eyewear.
Or Tim David's got 180 like a tiger celebration.
Yeah. So
that stuff.
Go like jammy away deep, and then hope the in jokes are flowing.
Totally.
And that T20 team's good to go.
Yeah.
And I'm good with it too.
Mitch Marsh, captain, perfect. Yeah. Perfect. It's perfect.
Yep. So 5-0 in the West Indies. Literally perfect. Don't know if they're good.
B-.
He also won 5 tosses in a row, Mitch Marsh, which again, that's what you expect.
Yeah. Yeah, no idea.
I just to hark back quickly because I just wanted to make sure this is on the record. But just on Australia A Watch and the race to open the batting, and Constance will be in that race.
He will be.
He will be in that race. 4 on the bounce, etc.
He did it last year. Got himself in.
Hilzo did say there's no question Sam is good enough, but he's not watching the ball.
Perfect.
So, something for Sam to work on.
He's not watching the ball. I think some of the West Indies batters are just struggling to watch the ball at night. All right, well, that's a pretty conclusive wrap of the West Indies series. Pezza, it's time for 6 points. Pale, Charlie.
Give me 6 points. Give me a cold beer. Give me 6 points, pale, and a song. I've never had so many sweaty sing my favourite song. What's me dad better day? Doesn't matter anyway. I've got a 6 points pail. I've got a 6 points pail and a song.
That's right. 6 points pale is back, baby. Well, it's been back for a little while, but you can grab your case. The cases are moving. You can grab your case with the link in the description of this video or this audio. You can get a case in Australia or the UK. Or the UK. You know what? Pick yourself up a case. When it arrives at your doorstep, flick us a text. My number is... No, hit the old DMs. We'll throw it up on the Instagram there. Link in the description below. 6 points power back, baby. Summer drink, winter drink, Oz, UK, good to go. Just love that song so much. I just sing around the house.
Shout out Toby Shane.
Kevin Pietersen's been on the tweet. Here's what he said. Don't shout at me, but batting these days is way easier than 20, 25 years ago. Probably twice as hard back then. Wakar, Shoaib, Akram, Mushtaq, Kumble, Srinath, Harbhajan, Donald, Pollock, Klusner, Goff, McGrath, Lee, Warren, Gillespie, Bond, Vittori, Cairns, Vast, Murali, Kirtley, Courtney. The list could go on and on. I've named 22 above. Please name me 10 modern-day bowlers that can compare to the names above. And he went again a couple of hours ago and said, I said that 4.5 million people have seen my tweet. Please give me 10 names. 10 names against that 22. So basically, he's named every good bowler in the era that he played in, that he had to play against, in what was largely considered as the best batting era in the history of the game. Now, don't get me wrong; these are fine bowlers, all of them fine bowlers. But KP says basically like things were good when I was playing, so he's just doing his best there.
Yeah,
hell of a player.
Mate, hell of a player.
He was a hell of a player.
He also said 2 days fielding and no result on the cards. You want to get off the field. You cannot have a pop at Ben Stokes for his frustration. Very easy to have a pop at him when you're sitting in your lounge watching. You're not in the battle. Leave the men in the ring to be emotional. So he has his perspectives, and that'd be about on par with the one you read out.
Well, he's just starting a conversation, which is what I like. Name 10 bowlers that are as good as those names.
Okay.
Probably.
Just name the best bowlers who are currently going around.
Yep.
Who will gain a similar legacy to those you just named there.
That's right. But he's not playing now, so
yeah.
So bowling was twice as good when he played, even though every record batter played when he was. So
yeah,
that's probably just.
I think batting's harder.
That's probably coincidence.
Yep.
Here's Bredig on the BBL investment conversation this morning. Cricket Australia will consider joining the 2020 private investment boom that just reaped $2 billion for English cricket after an independent report recommended selling minority stakes in the 8 Big Bash Leagues clubs. A major reason Cricket Australia has stayed away from private ownership is that the BBL has been scheduled alongside the home test season, which is the preference of broadcasters 7 and Foxtel. Private owners would prefer the league had its own window so Australian test stars can play the whole tournament, which would force an overhaul of the summer schedule. The BCG review was presented to CA Chair Mike Baird and the chairs of the 6 states via video conference on Monday afternoon, according to 3 sources with knowledge of confidential discussions. So what are we talking about here, Pez? It sounds like we're getting softened up for an inevitable private investment, maybe not takeover, but bids for minority stakes in clubs. So privatisation of the BBL.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's for Fabrizio Romano, here we go, but it's probably whatever the preliminary step towards that.
Okay.
There's been a lot of activity and communication and rhetoric out of Cricket Australia channels in the last few months, preparing people for this. And I think more broadly, anybody who's like followed the game at maybe some of the economic trends of the game in the last couple of years would see that this is a maybe not an inevitability, because Cricket Australia have taken a couple of steps a bit different to some other administrations, but it's really difficult to see how this was going to be avoided. And and by avoided I mean avoiding selling its ownership to assets that it currently owns. But right now, it seems to be like Todd Greenberg's priority. It's probably what he's most charged with doing at the board level, and it's going to be extremely interesting, I think, because unlike other, I think a lot of other countries, I think Australia's Australian fandom is uniquely disconnected to T20 cricket in a way that, so we know about it. We have the Big Bash League. The way that it's positioned among our fandom, as far as I can see, I could be wrong. Data could suggest otherwise, right? Ganguly, that is. It's hard in the old brain there. The way I see it is that T20 has never been positioned as something that would ask Test cricket to compromise. Australia's relationship to Test cricket is the apex expression of our love of the game, and I would assume that any invitation of private investment of franchises or consortiums outside of Australian cricket would be paying money on the basis that they have access to our best players and access to a conversation about what the Australian summer looks like. Because if you want to access our best players, you're probably going to need to put the biggest games on when Australians watch cricket. At the moment, there's 6 or 7 years of agreements of when Australian Test cricket takes place.
Yep.
So how that is managed is interesting to me. There might be easy answers to that, but I do think, you mentioned that term softening up. I do think it's going to be a really interesting communications challenge for Cricket Australia to prepare Australian audiences for what that looks like. We do sit in the bottom corner of the world. We're pretty, we're as Donald Horn says, we're the lucky country. We run our own affairs a lot of the time. We enjoy cricket. With our head in the sand about everything else going on around the world. That's because of time differences and we like footy and stuff like that. So, how Cricket Australia prepares audiences for like what you'd imagine would be the biggest revolution to the game since Packer, with outside influence on what our summer looks like is going to be interesting. Now, like, that's not to it's not to sledge it necessarily. I think the macro trends of the global game make this an absolute inevitability. And I think if you're going to critique it, it'd be like, why now? Why not earlier? Yep. Have everybody else has done this. What alternatives exist? I know CA has been making a lot of there's been a lot of rhetoric around, well, we might be having a look at Saudi Arabia here, or we're very interested in the US. To me, it looks a bit like, I'm just taking some different offers to the negotiating table, just so you know. But ultimately, these the IPL team names that you're familiar with will be the major consortiums who come in to try and join up their monopoly of the game, and it's it's money that they've got that people cannot. It is completely unable to be that you can't compete with it. Yep. So, I'm like. It's massive. It's massive news.
Yeah, I mean it is really interesting because the only Southern Hemisphere countries that will be competing, in that summer slot is us, New Zealand, and of course South Africa. Now South Africa have quite clearly fucked off tests in their prime window. No home test for South Africa for 2 years. I think Australia's next time they go there. And Australia, as you said, has locked in their test calendar, the test dates and the venues for 6 or 7 years. It might be 6 more years after this one. So what does that look like? Can we play the Big Bash in November? Is it October? That seems very close to the end of the AFL final.
Australians have shown they really don't watch cricket then. Like if you look at the T20 World Cup in 2022, the best of the best on our shores in November, it was the attendance and interest was soft.
Australia was defending their title that they won 2 years before.
It was soft post COVID, etc. But I mean, media and general public interest has shown time and time again. It takes a little while to get into cricket mode, and people look. The administrations will say otherwise. Completely their prerogative to say so, and we would join them in wanting cricket to have a bigger window than 4 to 5 weeks. But for whatever reason, we just love the AFL time trials and NAB trade radio in November.
And so what you think is then, okay, so the end of the SCG test would be like the second week of January, and so that'd be a good time for it to start. Well, guess what? That's when the SA20 is and the IL T20. So the calendar is being chewed up, to your point of like why it takes so long. We are where we are. Maybe it'll all be figured out because basically these owners all own...
We'll move them.
all these owners own multiple teams around the world. But anyway, it's a watch.
Maybe they can just move the SA20 and ILT20. You know?
Maybe.
I don't know about them. I've got no emotional investment in them. And maybe we just go back to the days of childhood where like you just play a whole heap of one days in January, but now it's just, the Sydney Royals.
Yeah, I like a Benson and Hedges try series, please, in January before I go back to school.
It's a watch. Just as the World Championship of Legends is a watch.
Fucking oath it is. I think it's good for the players to collab on their socials whenever they hit a 4. That's been my favourite thing so far.
I enjoy being requested to TGC requested to collab with them in exchange for merch. Catty, Simon Catty. Now, all I've got here is a note from one of our loyal patrons, patreon.com/greatcricket. If you want a pure way to support TJC, purity. Andrew, a pay pig on Walkabout, says, Aussies beating India in the World Champions League last night with Ferguson 70 red. Safety. Can he open in the tests? Probably could. So I don't know what else he's doing.
I saw Christo get a wicket.
Yeah, he was bowling round the wicket and then he's like came off the. But Christo looks like he's still got this like a similar kind of. He's still got the movement. Yeah.
I saw Christo get a wicket. That's what I'm bringing to this.
Well,
so Instagram's working. All right, AskTGC.
Oh no, sorry,
more.
Mark
more.
writes in. Make sure you have a look at the Australian over 60s side currently playing the Grey Ashes in England.
Make sure you have a look.
I haven't had a look, but happy to hear more.
I'm sure they're having a good time.
You'd hope so.
Guys playing at 60 for Australia against England. Guys that played a lot of first grade, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'd like to think that the same like level of politicking, of arm wrestling, of like needing to fit in, doing the right things to be part of the group, a culture fit. Issues of culture fit still exist for guys over 60 to get into the side. Like I'd like to hope guys are missing out on selection unfairly because they got dudded in a business deal. Yeah. You know, like that's where I'm coming from. I'm sure the gentlemen are proud to represent their country. Good luck to them. Good cricketers all. And I'd hope that we defeat England. Don't get me wrong. But I also hope that there's there's horseplay, there's politicking.
I fucked my wife in 97.
Tub stuff would be interesting.
Interesting.
Interesting. Don't go in now, Jackson. Yeah. Anyway. So, good luck to both teams in the Grey Ashes.
Good luck to everyone. Ask TGC. Send in your questions for the main pod to hello@gradecricketer.com. Alice wrote in, Pezza. So that Indian umpiring blaming is just a side effect of their current of fascism. Brand of fascism, maybe. Anything doesn't go their way is a direct challenge to their superiority, so must be rigged against them. At least England's imperialism just rigged things in their favour through systemic and oppressive means, but otherwise they graciously accepted defeat. Now, Alice wrote this in before what kicked off,
Oh, yeah, this is Lords, right?
Yeah.
Well, look, Indian fascism, England imperialism, Australian racism. Everybody weaponizes their own weaknesses to police others. I'm not saying it all just comes out in the wash. Like it all, say, if you buy someone around or who owes who money.
I see. Yeah.
But every country's got the sticks, that they use, and they got the weapons they fire, the arrows they fire, to police. It's just a game of policing.
Just game of policing.
Yep.
Well, what about this? This is from ECC2's player. Boys, just wondering if you've seen any online discourse regarding the growing tensions between Essendon Football Club and Essendon Cricket Club over the rights to use Windy Hill.
Certainly have.
Both clubs have scheduled matches in October and seem to think the other club needs to stay in their lane. Is this another case of Vic footy clubs bullying their poorer cricketing counterparts, or is October's IST footy season now?
Or is October footy season now?
Yeah. Or is that? Yeah. Regards, ECC2's player.
I'm surprised cricket's hanging on to October.
Yeah. So the AFL Grand Final is last week of September for now, but
It's AFLW, isn't it? Isn't that?
the AFLW will be playing Windy Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie, you're into that?
Yeah.
Charlie, is it AFLW?
I would assume that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Are you going?
To that game
Yeah.
in particular.
Yeah.
I might as well.
You're going to all the others, so might as well. Yeah. So, okay, so the AFLW against first grade cricket. So that is a tricky one. And I know who's going to win. And boys, if you ain't providing tea, you ain't getting the game.
It was my first ever game of Victorian Premier Cricket was at Windy Hill.
I didn't
It
know
was
that.
awesome. Yeah, well, how would you know that?
How'd you hit him?
It was St Kilda versus Essendon, and and I said it correctly, Essendon.
Yeah.
You drop the N down here, and we defeated them comfortably, and I made 18, and I
Pez hasn't blinked yet.
and I went back to cut a ball that was short, and I nicked it. I was caught behind.
Okay.
And it still irritates me.
Off a seamer or
No, a spinner.
Keep up the
Spinner.
stumps. Yeah.
It was a waste of an innings, but in keeping with most of my fucking career.
Sure.
But it was really cool to play at Windy Hill.
Yeah, sure.
Because for
Yeah.
me at that time,
Yep.
just back to normal decibel levels now.
Yeah, so
but for me at that time, it was like Windy Hill was obviously not being from Victoria, only just moved down there. Like Windy Hill was something that I'd seen on like overlay footage of like Essendon training,
Right.
watching Sports Tonight as a child.
Yeah.
Tim Webster stylings.
Bill Woods.
Yeah. And our coach at the time was an Essendon fan and was like, you're really lucky to be here to everybody. So like sardonically and stuff. But like it's a good it's a good ground. You can tell it's got VFL pedigree.
Yeah.
I had a massage the other day and
Yeah? Is that Velvet Hands?
no, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Okay.
And after the massage, I walked to Windy Hill, which was nearby, and and sat and watched their grade team training. I didn't tell anybody about that, but
Yeah.
yeah. And they it was last season, and I was quite impressed. I was just watching guys play grade cricket. I'm like, and all their drills are better than the drills we had, and the bats are good, and guys bowled fast, and they had good skills, and they hit the ball long with good technique, and they caught the ball well, and
Just young guys being good at stuff.
the ground was nice and whatever. But unfortunately, that's a footy ground, so get off.
And Kevin Pietersen says that 20, 25 years ago, things are better.
Just sharing.
I drove past a massage parlour called Pink Sugar this morning.
Oh, that's a new one.
Yeah. Pink Sugar.
There's a whole stretch of them.
You been there, Chuck?
No,
You haven't been to Pink Sugar?
I haven't been to that one.
No. What about,
Trying to find reviews and
What about Royal Garden?
I haven't
That's
been
all in the
there.
same stretch.
what about the chain Velvet Hands Massage Parlour?
Yeah. I haven't been.
Haven't been.
Mate, you got to go.
Not recently.
Got to get the forehands. Well, should we cut it there this week?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us here on TGC. Episode 299, if that means anything to you.
Yeah, what are we doing next week for the big 300?
Mate, just wait and see.
Personal milestones.
Yeah, just wait and see. I guess we'll see us on the internet.
See us.
Fifth test starts on Thursday. So see you Friday morning for that kind of
Might
gear.
see us sooner. There's stuff in the works.
stuff
in the works. If something pops up on the old feed,
Yeah.
then we'll see you then.
We'll see you when you see you. See you later.